So, about 5 months ago, my life changed forever. I'm going to start with an analogy to help you understand. A person who is sick, let's say headache, might still be able to go to the gym, might still be able to make it to work. However, a person who doesn't have a headache, who is perfectly fine, would do these things better. If you were not sick in any way, every single thing you did when you're sick, you can do better, right? So this was epiphany, because it was like a light bulb in my head. And it's the same with our minds. There is already so much illness going on in our minds. We call it trauma. Yet we are able to function to some capacity. We are able to do things that we should do somehow. Forget this. We can do even better if our minds are sound. I strongly believe God is interested in the soundness of our mind. A sound mind is going to hear God better. A sound mind can make better decisions. A sound mind can make better choices. A sound mind does well in school. A sound mind does well with relationships. A sound mind is empathic. A sound mind, is progressive. A sound mind is like soil that is fertile and rich. Things grow well out of a sound mind. When a child has a sound mind, a growing child has a sound mind, they are great friends. They are amazing people. They are assertive. They do not let people insult them or mistreat them, while at the same time, they are the kindest people you will ever meet. When they grow up, they'll be choosing the right partners, the right career paths. They would know when things are no longer good for them. These days, whenever I see someone who I want to be like, there is always something I notice in them. Their minds are sound. They have standards. They have boundaries. These things that we talk about, that, hey, you should have this. You should set boundaries. You should set your standards. Hey, only a sound mind can do that so well. Or should I say, the degree to which you have these great traits like boundaries, assertiveness, high esteem, is to the degree of the soundness of your mind. Just like things like infections and headaches and all that stuff, it impedes our body. Trauma also impedes our minds. Experiences that cause trauma impedes our minds. It causes our minds to not operate to its full functionality. I know this because when I started paying attention to how my mind felt, I started doing more. I started doing more than I thought I could. Most times, we do not know how much we affect each other and cause trauma to our mind. And the crazy thing is that since it's the mind, we can't see it. If I get a stone and hit you today, I can see that you've been hurt and I'll feel bad. How about we start paying attention to how the things that we do around people and ourselves actually affect our minds? I thought about this because what caused me to have that epiphany that day was the night before. I was trying to get my toddler to sleep. She had not slept the whole day, so I was basically burned out after work and all that. And I was like, what do you want me to do? I have taken you to the park. I took you to play with your friends. You have eaten. I gave you a bath. What else do you want? I wasn't yelling, but my voice was quite loud, and it might have scared her a bit because the next thing she said was, okay, mommy, and then she slept off. I felt so bad in that moment because I might not see it there and then, but I feel like that yelling turned off the fire in her. Look, sometimes I see people say things like, this person only listens when I shout. This person only does what I want when I shout. And I think it's a lie. They did not do what you want because you shouted. It's like you poured water to quench their fire. A fire that is supposed to burn. It's like you're trying to turn off a candle with water, like these scented candles that come with covers, yeah? It's like trying to pour water on it to turn it off, instead of just closing the lid and then it's going to go off. What am I saying? We have normalized so much violence to the mind And because we do not see the injury immediately, we go on with life, and this injury has impeded the full functionality of the mind. Parents do not know when they yell so much at the kid or dismiss the kid so much that the kid loses esteem. They don't know when it happens. Friends don't know when they say words that actually damage the thought process of the other person. I don't want to blame anyone, sorry, because I know it can be so hard to be sensitive to what we do or what we say that affects people in a certain way. However, we are still responsible, and there is so much damage that has already been done that will take a long time to undo, because now, since this wound we have ignored for a long time and it's manifested into something else, it's like having an open wound and not treating it. All in the mind. See, I think our mind is the most strong yet the most fragile parts of us, because our fuel, in fact, it's our engine. Every choice, every decision we make comes from there. Yet it is the most hurt part of us. It can hold so much injury that the next person would never tell. Like, if you had told me maybe 5 years ago that I had issues with my esteem, I would have said you're lying, because I know myself is what I would say. I know myself, yeah. But when I started paying attention to myself, I saw like, oh, I had a friend who I was speaking to one time in university. Now I see him as one of the wisest people I ever met, one of the most assertive. And this is what he said. He told me, I am very careful around the people I choose to be my roommates. I noticed that I pick up things very easily from people, and I don't know when it happens. For instance, I spend most of my time with this particular friend who is a mutual friend, and I noticed I started yelping like him. You know what I said to him back then? This was like probably 8 years ago. I said to him, you are easily influenced by your peers. You don't have that much of an esteem. Look at the person talking. Me talking did not know that this person is very self-aware and is trying to take actions to protect his mind against what he doesn't want to cause a dent to his mind. However, me, who is oblivious of all of that, was telling him that he has a problem, that he had low self-esteem, and he is just easily influenced, or he's very susceptible to peer pressure. I am going to apologize to him. I have thought about apologizing to him for like a year now, because when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, how would I say that to him? Because he was right and I was very wrong. But it just goes to show how we can go on with our lives acting like everything is great. However, we are housing so much injury in our mind. Now, I am not here to say that I have the tools to help you change your mind. What has been helping me renew my mind, honestly, is a lot of things that I will share later. I'm just here to urge you to be conscious of what is going on in our minds, and also be conscious of what actions we take that causes trauma to other people's mind. Yes, the actions we take, the things we say, the ways we react to people and things can be traumatic to them as well. So I hope going forward we start caring about our minds. That's what I'm going to be so focused on, by the way, these days, because it's a battle that has to be won. I remember this Bible verse. It ends with, but by the renewing of the mind. I'll try to find it and add it somewhere here, but it goes to show how God really, really cares about the state of our minds. So much has happened growing up that when we get to this state of consciousness, there is so much that has to be undone. There is so much renewing that has to be done. And I want my generation to be more conscious of it. The future and the mindset of the next generation heavily relies on this. And I trust that the God who is in heaven, who is faithful to himself, will help us win this battle against an unsound mind. Amen.